Instead of a buzzer beater or viral clip, it begins with a seismic change. Left everyone in the sports world dumbfounded. Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player of all time, recently made Caitlin Clark an unexpected proposition. This was not expected. Not insiders, not analysts, not even the WNBA. This went beyond a mere handshake or endorsement since it was so extreme. It's so innovative that it might fundamentally alter the structure of women's professional sports. The sports world came to a complete stop when Jordan offered Caitlin Clark her own team. Yes, her own team. When they say, "Let's build an empire together," what does it even mean? To a newbie, the GOAT states, this was not a speculative situation. The most captivating person in women's basketball was contacted by wealthy businessman Michael Jordan. An invitation to join the elite halls of ownership, not sponsorship or mentoring. This kind of offer is unique to each age. It's possible that Clark will be the one to open doors and turn a key that no other professional basketball player has ever had. This was not an emotional moment. Rather, it was a strategic one. Something caught Jordan's attention. He saw Caitlin Clark as more than just a gifted basketball player. She had an unmistakable quality. However, as a movement, a future, and a market force. If Jordan is the most knowledgeable person, finding a generational opportunity and taking advantage of it before others do is the key. Everything changed after that offer. He is leaving her with a legacy, not simply a squad. The WNBA is evolving and being revitalized as a result of this partnership. This collaboration improves the league overall in addition to elevating Caitlin Clark. It informs all the young girls watching that they don't have to give up on any sport, entertainment, fashion, and more. The Charlotte Hornets were just the beginning. Just the Jordan brand generates more than $5 billion annually. The man never misses. This is not only about power, it's about vision. No player received this offer from Jordan. He made her capable of starting and continuing a legacy. His field of study was franchise management. It reads like a roadmap on his resume. He rose to international fame and became an expert at building competitive teams to dominate any arena, court, business, or other environment. Now, he's ready to use the same tactic in the WNBA. Jordan's history as an exceptional athlete and a successful businessman gives him a dual perspective that no one else in sports possesses. He understands what it takes to work toward success and produce something lasting, which makes this time vital. In addition to being a superstar, he sees Caitlin as a creator, a brand, a disruptor, and someone who could support a young league and make it more widely known than before. He has already accomplished this with footwear, franchises, and culture in general. Boardrooms will take notice now that he is betting heavily on Clark. Networks will adapt. Investors will come next. When Jordan makes a move, the markets shift. Additionally, this action may have an effect that goes way beyond women's basketball. Basketball. What, though, is it about Caitlin Clark? Jordan defied every expectation as a result of the situation. She is not only talented but also a phenomenon. She did more than simply make headlines during her debut season, which saw record-breaking TV viewership and sold-out arenas. She revised them. Clark alone pulled the WNBA out of the shadows and into the mainstream, with over 1 million people watching every game. With each step back, social media is buzzing. The jerseys are selling out quickly. 3. She is creating a brand in real time rather than merely playing. Her impact is so great that statistics can't fully convey it. This has to do with cultural gravity. Caitlin Clark is a movement, a media event, and a marketing fantasy all combined. She is the reason networks are negotiating, advertisers are calling, and fans, both new and old, are attending in bigger numbers than ever before. This is a transition rather than a moment. She's raising the ceiling on what's feasible rather than merely raising the bar. Jordan acknowledges that her presence has changed the business culture of the WNBA. He recognizes the potential, financial gain, and power of collaborating with a market-shifting company. Jordan is willing to hand Clark the keys to a team that she needs to own rather than play for. There is no longer any dispute about the WNBA's viability. What is Caitlin Clark's limit, I wonder? Because if her first season is any indicator, the possibilities are virtually limitless. She has shown that women's sports can be profitable, well-liked, and powerful globally. We'll discover just how strong that impact can be now that Jordan is on her side. This is the point at which things become even more inventive. The concept of player ownership is not only new, but revolutionary. Imagine a new era of empowerment where players become executives, visionaries, and moguls, with the league's most marketable player becoming one of its owners, matching profit and performance. In a world where the structures that athletes support sometimes exploit them, the opposite is true. This shows that you are more than just a part of the product. You are its owner. Since giving Clark equality means giving her authority, this suggests that the WNBA can take the initiative rather than copying the NBA. That's the kind of transformation that doesn't happen in a quiet manner. It garners media attention. But this isn't fiction. It's an example of a template. Jordan knows how hard it is to carve out a seat at the table since she has gone through this legal, financial, and political path. Therefore, instead of just giving her an opportunity, he is building a throne for her, a stage and a path that other elite female athletes can take. This will have an impact beyond basketball if it is successful. If Clark and Jordan can pull this off, it will change sports so the NFL, MLB, and MLS will all be watching. A new benchmark for all leagues is then established by player ownership. Globally, athletes begin to look forward to it. Start asking yourself, why can't I own too? In addition, this could force the WNBA to alter its current ownership structure. Wasn't meant for this. Although it was not intended for players to enter the boardroom, they may now be compelled to. Because if a player like Michael Jordan comes on your door while holding hands with the most lucrative celebrity, the league must adapt or else it runs the risk of slipping behind the current governance structure, which keeps NBA franchises private. Investors own the clubs, and they may soon face pressure to negotiate ownership with the players. Clark's agreement supports this thesis. She has proven that one player has the power to improve a whole league. Why, therefore, shouldn't she participate? This is about balancing ownership with influence, just as much as mockery and fairness. The WNBA needs a stake in the result if they want to keep players like Clark's material and emotional commitment. This means building a facility that represents the modern athlete, expanding collaboration structures, and reevaluating policies. This brings us to Nike and the Jordan brand, the next superpower. Their involvement might hasten this partnership, as they have billions of dollars in global sales and a marketing machine that touches every part of the sports industry. We are discussing global campaigns. Imagine customized apparel and unique footwear inspired by Clark's rise and Jordan's brand legacy. NBA arenas filled with fans wearing Clark's famous Jordans. Netflix promotions. Documentaries. Numerous chances exist for worldwide tours, and the timing couldn't be better considering Nike's recent initiatives to support women's sports. This is the epitome of strategy. Quick, not just synergy. Clark's would be made possible by Nike's platform. Jordan is skilled at using his influence and voice as a weapon to go well beyond basketball. He created an empire with the swoosh. Now, he could use it to help Clark improve hers. They would be unstoppable as a team. An athlete and a mogul collaborating, both in name and in intent. The Jordan brand offers more than just sneakers, which is its best feature. Narratives are sold by it. It sells legends, and Caitlin Clark has a good chance of becoming its next great thing. She has the talent, the willpower, and the global reach. Jordan, what about him? He has the infrastructure, the blueprint, and the heritage to expand it. Instead of talking about branding, we're talking about creating myths. Clark would have more than just a logo. Children everywhere would carry her movement, message, and mission with them. Think about the effects of generational disparities. I like it. A young girl, conscious that the woman on the billboard dominates the game she plays, is lacing up her iconic JS while watching Clark dominate the court. It's a kind of cultural artillery that transforms rather than just inspires. The goal of Jordan's brand is to rewire dreams. It states that you are not required to conform to the system. You are able to create your own. Give exactly that kind of disruption. Meanwhile, Nike's growing commitment to women's sports goes beyond public relations. Motivated by profit. They watch the momentum's direction. They watch the record-breaking engagement, ratings, and merchandise numbers. Caitlin Clark is at the forefront of that movement. Jordan might change Nike's women's lineup. An era and a signature shoe were ushered in by the basketball portfolio that surrounded her. Adidas, Puma, Under Armour, and other companies will then follow. What will they all be seeking as they try to catch up? Being first has that kind of power. That's the advantage of vision, and Jordan and Clark evolved first with every press release. With every endorsement and pair of sold-out trainers, the narrative changes. It's not charity to play women's basketball. Investment. It is always the most revered. Not only did Jordan see greatness in Caitlin Clark, but he also viewed himself as a youthful, aspirational phenomenon ready to change the world, but only if given the tools to do it. Right now, he's making sure she has the influence, ownership, and platform. He is not just looking at how basketball might evolve in the future. The kind of power move he's doing to help shape it is upending the entire sports environment. Within NBA ownership circles, whispers are already turning into conversations, which turn into boardroom meetings. The same question is circulating throughout Wall Street, ESPN, and WNBA front offices. What does it imply for everyone else that Caitlin Clark owns a portion of her own team? Can she become one? What does that mean for all of the best female athletes in the world? Been told to stay in their lane. There are no lanes left when someone like Clark truly rewrites the blueprint.
Time.
Not with Jordan by her side, adding his heritage, reputation, and brand to a novel concept. They are changing not just who may participate in sports, but also who can own them. And the paradigm is totally altered by that. Let's not pretend that there won't be opposition to this. Gatekeepers. Traditionalists are influential people who have accumulated wealth by upholding the status quo. They won't like this. They'll call it a diversion, a gimmick, or a threat. They are aware that it is dangerous, thus they will be against it. Because Jordan and Clark aren't asking, even though they know deep down that the throne is shifting and that power is shifting. Requesting authorization. They are setting a precedent one step at a time, and each step weakens the basis of an equated society. Every business deal, every sold-out game, every well-received tweet, and every story is a setback. The idea that women's sports are less valuable, enjoyable, or worthy is being debunked by this partnership. The final nail in its coffin. The timing couldn't be more appropriate. Funding for women's sports is at an all-time high. Female athletes are finally getting more exposure, and collegiate athletes are beginning to use NIL deals. Caitlin Clark is at the center of it all. Instead of cashing out, she is cashing in on her vision and a future where she is not just a participant, but a power broker. If this vision is realized,